Welcome to Talent Freaks with Andy Coon. I'm Andy, a filmmaker and photographer based in the Bay Area of California. This podcast delves into the journeys of creative individuals who inspire curiosity and impact through their work. In this episode, we're revisiting a conversation from 2008 with Eric Jacobus. Now, this is the first of a two-parter with Eric Jacobus, a California-based stuntman, actor, and action designer. Eric began his film career in 2001 by forming the Stunt People, a group dedicated to creating short action comedies. He is known for his hard-hitting stunts, diverse fighting styles, and a flair for physical comedy. His work spans film, television, and video games, where he has made significant contributions as a performer and action designer. Now, before we dive into this awesome conversation, don't forget to subscribe and rate Talent Freaks on your favorite podcast platform. It helps others discover these inspiring stories. Let's jump back to 2008 and let the younger version of myself introduce you to Eric Jacobus and experience his awesomeness. Eric and I first met when he came onto the set of Dogs of Chinatown, and he was here in Greensboro for about 3 weeks, so I got to know him pretty well. I was doing anything that Micah needed for his film. But during that time, I uncovered some really cool things about Eric, like his passion for filmmaking, that he's a writer, that he's a web designer, that he's just a gymnast, and he works out like a freak, he eats like a mad dog, and then he's just a really down-to-earth, nice guy, and very passionate and creative in what he loves to do. He does. He's one of these guys that just does it. So I have a lot of respect for what he does. And if you want to check out his website, go to thestuntpeople.com, where you'll find tons of entertaining short videos and also a couple videos that he's put together, feature films, like his feature film Contour. So this is part one of our two-part conversation. Him and I just started talking and went off, and I said, you know what? I got to cap it. I got to make it a two-part series. So enjoy this. Thank you, Eric. I keep saying Jacobus. I'm sorry, man. Thank you, Eric Jacobus, for joining me on a Conversation with Coon. Yet another episode, and I'm so happy that I got you on for this.
Me too.
And I appreciate it. And it's funny because when I put up your upcoming conversation with Eric Jacobus, fuck, I'm sorry, man. It's a bad habit.
I get a seizure every time someone says the other one. So,
I heard you groan. You're like, "Bleh."
Yeah, I kind of pee my pants a little bit. And it's real ugly, man. School was a bitch.
What was it like? Was there a nursery rhyme or something with it?
I don't know, man. I think it's just my, it's like the opposite of my safety word or something.
Are you up for a nice game of solitaire? This Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't get it. Well,
but
end of that.
Well, yeah. Have a last name like Coon, you know.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I had a nursery rhyme with everybody. Anything you could rhyme with "oon," spoon, baboon, balloon, noon, you name it. It was in a song.
Uh-huh.
And it first started out with Andy Coon ate the moon. So right there, you realize, like a little fat kid back in nursery school, getting teased.
Oh, yeah. They didn't have much on me. They couldn't even say my name right. So I think the only one I ever got was Eric the Dick, and that wasn't even very good.
That isn't that good. Like Nick,
No.
yeah, that works, but not Eric.
Yeah.
All right, back.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are you up to right now, man? Besides at home.
I'm writing. I'm spending a lot of time writing lately. I do some shorts from time to time for other people. Or just recently had some guys from Chicago come in, Lazy Brown Productions.
I read that post, man. How did you guys get hooked up to begin with?
We met through our forum at the Stunt People, the Stunt People forum, and they post videos there all the time. And they were working on this new film noir series, and kind of around the same time that Micah started working on Dogs of Chinatown. It was just coincidence that that they did a noir film at the same time, and they were just going to work on this web series called Those Who Go to Hell. Yeah,
and
Yeah, it's cool, and it's real stylish, and they wanted they kind of wanted to make this uh, national action film, across the literally across the board, across our board at the Stunt People, because there are so many people who make films on our
Hmm.
forum, and they just wanted to get everybody involved that they could, and so they had a lot of people from, San Diego, the East Coast, West Coast, middle of America, fly out to Chicago and be in these webisodes for those who go to hell.
Now,
And so
who sponsored all those airplane tickets?
I think this is all just passion.
Oh,
Passion
okay.
sponsored it.
You gotta be passionate to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is all passion. So they flew out here to get as many of us involved as they could, because they wanted to tap into our group, because we have about 15, 20 people out here, and they were going to use whoever they could. And so they came out here, stayed at my place for 5 days or so, and just worked on it for 3 nights.
How
It
many
was
people?
awesome.
How many people are in that production? I
On
mean,
their
how many
side,
people
or
came out? Yeah, how many people came out from Chicago?
just two of them?
Oh, okay,
Just two
cool.
of them. Manny Manzanares and Sean Bernal.
Very nice. But
Two very, very talented people.
now let's get into the meats, the grit of who you are and
Good, because
how.
I'm vegetarian. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
right.
I'm not.
I see
Kind
how
of.
I've seen you eat, man. There's no way a vegetarian would ever eat like that.
Yeah.
It's like asparagus, carrots. But so when was the first damn day? And I know you're sick and tired. Everybody who ever talks to
Oh,
you
no,
has
no, no, no.
asked this, but like,
Not
when did you
bothered.
realize that you were gonna be a badass, man? Like, when you first started shooting films? I mean, you do it so different than like anything I've ever seen, especially independent and in the realm that we're in right now, as far as the internet age. You do it so amazingly well. When did you realize that I got something here and it's going to be really cool?
Thank you. Well, I had no real ambitions of making movies. I didn't even really make that many, films with our camcorder as a kid. I remember we had a camera when I was, I think, 5, and I shot like one or two things on it. There was nothing serious behind it, but no, I sure wasn't going to make a career out of it. And I was going to major in math and do physics and stuff like that. But I hated school. Uh,
That's an obstacle right there.
yeah, especially for something like physics.
Yeah.
And I was going to have to do my PhD in physics, and I don't know, love physics, hate school. It's not like I'm going to get a job by reading physics books.
Well, I mean,
It's
it's just a shortcut. I mean, that's what you do in school, really.
Yeah,
Just
I guess, but nobody would take me seriously if I said, "Yeah, I read these books." And you just kind of be that 50-year-old who's at the community college for his whole life. And so when I was 18, I grew up in Redding, California, and it's just a small town. Kind of started out as well, it didn't start out, but it's been a retirement place, kind of a retirement community for a long time, and it's just kind of where people go to settle down, and not a whole lot of, I guess, middle class economic opportunity. So a lot of kids just leave Redding when they go to school, and if you're lucky to make a living there, then it's a great place. But I sure couldn't find anything there. And so while I was going to college in Reading with the hopes of leaving, I just got bored with all the math and the physics. And one day, I met Chelsea and Ben. I met Ben through school. And I met Chelsea at a Blockbuster, which is appropriate. He was trying to find one movie, and I had that one in my hands, and I was trying to find another movie which he had in his hands. It's the craziest story. We were both looking for these. There were these Hong Kong films. We were probably the only two kids in Reading who even knew where Hong Kong was.
that's funny.
And so we were looking for these two films, and we just switched to films, and we started talking there. We must have talked for about 3, 4 hours at that Blockbuster that night. And we didn't make movies for a long time. We didn't even talk about it because we just liked the movies. We just like watching them. But the thought of making them just never occurred to us until just one day I said, "Hey, let's just try it out and see what this is like." Because I hadn't even seen a Hong Kong film till I was 16, and when I was 16, I said, "This stuff is awesome," and I dove into it for 2 years. And after watching, owning 500 of these movies, I'm just gonna try this. Not that I'm gonna be able to do anything with it, but I figured I'd just try it.
Wait, you bought 500 of them, or you rented?
Yeah, just over time. Yeah, about
Wow.
500 of them I just bought. I mean, I found I just tried to milk all the local video stores, but they didn't have anything. They only had kind of the U.S. releases of Jackie Chan stuff, and I knew that wasn't where the best stuff was. I just kind of knew that, and and so I found out that if I go to Chinatown in San Francisco, I
Smart.
could just get them all there. So I would make weekend trips down to Chinatown back when gas was cheap. Cost me about $30 to go down there in my little Audi. Go down there for a day, stock up on about 20 movies, and bring them back.
Hold
And
up.
around that time, yeah. Sorry.
I've never heard anyone call my little Audi.
Oh yeah, no, it was a 1980 Audi 4000. It was 60 horsepower. And only
1980?
1980
Wow.
Audi 4000. Not a luxury Audi by any means, but that car was cool, man. It got about 40 miles to the gallon.
Oh.
It just sipped. Yeah.
And yet it declined with gas mileage through the years, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's true. No, I miss those days too. I have to stop myself sometimes.
Yes, me too. All right, so you went down Chinatown, you come back with, how many did you buy in one setting?
Probably about 15 to 20.
Nice.
And it's not that I would just get any movie. I would do my research and read reviews. I would look for reviews online also for mostly just to see what the action was like. I honestly just did not care about anything else in the movie. I found out that a lot of the films that had some of the best action were just Hong Kong B films that had crappy stories, and I wasn't interested in watching these things really, except for I just wanted to see the fight scenes.
That's so interesting. That's just like porn. People I mean, people don't watch it for the story. They watch it for the action.
Well, you don't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't even watch it. I fast forward, man.
I like the stories in porn, man. They can be pretty good. I saw one time that had a fight scene, that had a car chase. It was in 3D too.
What?
Yeah.
Did you go to the theater to see it?
Oh yes, I did.
You know why I asked that? Because my brother took my father to a 3D porn in Massachusetts. And it was like a whole community. It was a small town in Massachusetts, and they went to, it was just like, oh, there's a 3D porn playing at the theater tonight. And it was cool for about the first 5 minutes, and everyone afterwards started looking at each other. Sean, my brother, looked at my dad and was just like, oh, God, I'm watching a porn with my father. What did I do? But it was like, it was like that, right?
Yeah. It was a film called Hot Skin, and they give you the black and blue, the red and blue glasses, and it didn't even work. It wasn't even really 3D. They just shot it wrong, and they didn't care. But they did a lot of things with that 3D that had the 3D worked, it would have been a lot grosser, I think. Anyway, that's not what this podcast is about, is
yes,
it?
It is.
It's
on the internet. It has to be about porn. No, I have an antidote to that story. A friend of mine, I'm not going to say who it was, wanted to create 3D porn. And and it was just like, we got together and we were talking about this, and the guy who was creating the actual camera, like, he was actually building the 3D lens for the camera to shoot, and he did some tests, and it was kind of like but we're all sitting around talking about this, about money and everything else. And then finally something just hit me, and I go, hey, why are we 3D will never work? And everyone looked at me, they're like, why? I'm like, what are you going to do when your girlfriend, your wife walks in? Are you going to zip up, turn it off, or take off your freaking glasses? I'm like, and nobody got what I was saying. They all looked at me like I was like this giant asshole, and I'm going, no, guys, I'm serious. It's just one more obstacle in the way of trying to hide things. You can refresh your screen, to shut it down, but no, you got to take off your stupid glasses, and it's going to have, probably nipples on both sides of the lenses, for being important.
And they're going to know that those 3D glasses aren't being used for word processing.
So anyway, long story short, it failed. They never got it off the ground. No pun intended.
All right.
So back to you.
Oh, me. So anyway, I got a bunch of, and around this time, I might as well say, because this is important. I started getting to the point where I had seen every film that had been reviewed online.
What?
In terms of the action, right? Because there were only maybe 2 or 3 sites that reviewed Hong Kong films, maybe 4 or 5, but there were only, I think, maybe 2 of those reviewed the action. And one site in particular, I remember it. It was Ron Lim's site, and he reviewed the action only and gave it a rating between 1 and 5. And I went through that list, and I got as many as I could, and I exhausted that list. And then I got to the point where I was like, nobody else is doing this, and also nobody posts pictures, nobody posts clips, and nobody even goes into detail about the fights themselves. And so I started a website when I was, I think, 16, 17.
Nice.
Started a website because I've been working at my community college as a web designer and programmer. And so I learned my web design skills there. And I just made a website and started reviewing Hong Kong films there, and got a pretty decent following on the website. People would go to the site just to read about what the action was in the films. And I didn't really write about anything else. Because there were enough sites, I think, out there that reviewed just the movies, but for people who just wanted action, I just wrote the reviews for them with photos, and I detailed every fight scene, how long they were, how good they were, things like that.
That is so cool.
And that kind of became my first big project. That was, I don't remember I don't even think I had a name for the site back then, but that was back when it was hard to just post a video clip online. People have it so easy today. Back in 1999, putting a video clip online, if you didn't have a server, you weren't getting that clip online.
Yeah.
Because all of these small web providers like GeoCities, Fortune City Tripod, they caught on so quick because everybody was uploading porn to these things. And so as soon as you upload a video, it just deletes it. So you'd have to rename it to a JPEG or something and trick them, but then they started reading the header information. They found it was a video, they deleted it anyway. So for a little while I had video clips, but that didn't last until I actually hooked up with a friend who had his own web server, and he let me host the videos on his web server.
Wow.
Yeah, John Hess. He made the Direct Connect program, which was a big file sharing program back when we had them. And so then I could actually post videos on these reviews, and bandwidth was small, so we couldn't do big clips. These were like, I think 160 by 120 in resolution, really tiny.
Yeah.
I would at least give people a glimpse as what the action was like on these, and more importantly, I guess I also had photos on there, and then I would just detail the fights. And I did that for 3 years, I think. Even after I started making movies, I would post reviews on occasion. It was time consuming. It took about 3 hours to do each one, notwithstanding the length of time to watch the movie. But that's actually how the website started.
So that's pretty much where the Stunt People originated from. I mean,
.com. Yes, that's where it started. And,
God, that's
it
so
wasn't
cool.
Wasn't called the Stunt People back then. And actually, when I was doing the reviews, before we made movies, we tried the whole jackass thing, and not hitting each other with shovels, but jumping off of things and running on walls and doing silly things like that, just doing little stunts, doing acrobatics, kind of like parkour, except I don't think we knew what parkour was back then. I don't think anybody had actually done much of it, and anybody who was doing this stuff didn't really know what to call it, so we just called it stunts. And we originally, when we were doing it around town, we'd kind of collect a small group of kids who would just watch us at night, at midnight in suburban Reading. No kids have nothing to do, and they go find us at the school. We're running along the walls. They called us the wall jumpers.
I prefer Stunt People better.
Yeah, that's what we went with instead. And that was before we made actual movies. We were called the Stunt People. And then in 2001, we just said, try a fight scene. We tried this stunt stuff. Let's try a fight scene. And then that's when that night we knew what we wanted to do. It was 2001, January 15th at night. at the Reading Convention Center.
What? That it was just abandoned. There wasn't like convention going on.
No, there's nothing going on. Nothing really goes on there.
So what? When did you move to San Francisco?
I went to school in, I think, when was that was middle of 2002, I believe. And so I think that was, I hope I got my dates right. That sure sounds right. It's got to be. Yeah. Summer of 2002, I moved out to San Francisco and lived on campus for 2 years. I studied cinema at SF State. And yeah, San Francisco State. And, before I had gone to San Francisco, I actually didn't take any martial arts. I had done some gymnastics for a year and a half. I did some diving, but I never really taken martial arts. I took a little bit as a kid, maybe 2 months worth. Nothing really significant, but when I was doing these movies, I was just going off of what I'd seen in Hong Kong films because I was just so wild about how they did action and the speed of it and the, acrobatics and things like that. And I knew enough, I think, to just at least make a fight scene. And I could kind of fake it, but not very well. And so as soon as I moved to San Francisco, I opened up the Yellow Pages and I said, now I'm going to start. And looked up martial arts, went down the list, just started calling all the schools. And I found one. First one I found was a Hung Gar school, but they only wanted me to take Hung Gar. They wouldn't allow me to take any of the martial arts, so I said, that's out. Yeah. And then I found Huarong Quan, which was where Andy taught. He answered the phone, and I said, hey, could I come out and check out the school? He said, yeah. Went out there. Turned out he really wanted to make movies, too, because he was a big Donnie Yen fan.
Nice.
Yeah. And then so we kind of started a new crew in San Francisco in 2002, 2003.
Now, did all the other stunt people come from his dojo, or was just people started hearing about it and coming together? I mean, how did that...
People just start kind of hearing about it. It was a really slow process from when I moved to San Francisco because the guys up in Reading, they weren't really making movies without me until years later. And so I was essentially starting with a new crew. Now, when I would go back to Reading, we would shoot things.
Okay.
Whenever I went back for break, we'd always make a movie. We made our first feature when I went back on summer break a year later.
What was it called?
It was called Immortal.
Immortal, okay.
Immortal, which you can buy at our site if you want to, if you dare.
I saw that. How much, or how the DVD sales going from your site?
They're slow.
Okay.
Nothing really happening right now. I don't think we've had an order all month, but that's okay. When the new stuff comes out, people buy it. I think all the people who are going to buy it then, and then it's over. And then it's just about reaching new people at conventions and through our distributors and things like that.
Hey, I got an idea. And I did this with my documentary. I sold it on eBay.
Oh.
And I was just like, rare, award-winning documentary, can't find it anywhere else, blah, blah, blah. And then I put up a clip, because you couldn't. Then I put up a clip, and I think the best time is when I sold them for like $5 a piece, By then,
right.
And I upped the shipping to like $3. I get $1.50, plus for shipping. So, I made out, I'd say after... not a lot, but I would sell them out. Like, I do 10 heapings for 10 days, and they would sell out at $5 a piece. But I mean, you have something awesome, man. I mean, if someone saw the action from a clip, because you could put up YouTube videos on eBay,
right?
They'll be like, "Damn, yeah, this is rare. There's no way else I could see this." So,
decent idea. Maybe I'll try that out.
Just give it a shot. But I wouldn't waste a lot of time on it.
So yeah, the first year or so of living in San Francisco was kind of tough. It was just me, Andy, and I think I met Ed Kahana after that, maybe a year later, maybe 2 years later, I don't know. It was a really small crew for a while, and our practices were just a few of us, 4 of us doing acrobatics, and then Andy and I would just make movies whenever we could, and that was the Stunt People for a while. So, yeah, and then after that, met Dennis, did Contour, and then things just snowballed.
And that's look, I'm just amazed. Like, not only is the stunt people, they're very good with their martial arts and they're very entertaining, but they're also good actors. Like, you really do have a core group of people that are just downright entertaining and fun to watch. And it's not like this, oh God, you're acting. It's actually fun and enjoying. It's not like so. I mean, you guys just nail on the head almost every part.
Thank you.
Now I love it when you guys do cameos in other people's films, like when Jose Montesinos does all his films and use you guys. It's just it's brilliant.
Well, thanks. I'd like to think that people like our acting. I think that the fact that we're young and we're doing really cheap films, people don't take us very seriously, and it's kind of a harsh world out there for low budget entertainment, especially when it comes to action.
Well, I think right now the entertainment industry is kind of like up in arms, where they don't know what's going on or what to do. I mean, you look at the theaters, and I'm sure you realize this. All the films that we think, or the American Singer original, are probably remakes from Japan or from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And they're all sequels. They're all comic books. There's like, the Coen brothers are like the only ones that do original. Yeah. Although that's coming from a book. No Country for Old Men, except they do it so brilliantly well.
Oh man, that's might be my favorite movie, along with Fireworks.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But so I think that there's going to be a time, because when I was growing up as a little kid, I was looking at all the films and I was just like, oh look, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if like Freddy versus Jason and Godzilla and all these films I like fantasized as a kid.
You made that movie happen, didn't you?
No, my generation did, and we should be slapped down for that because of crap. It was just like no substance whatsoever. It was just like, all right, here's Godzilla, do whatever Godzilla does. And it was just terrible. I mean, all these movies, and then the second go around, everyone's trying to do, well, we could do a little bit better, and it still sucks. There's no originality in it whatsoever. So I think right now what's going to happen is with the younger generation of the video on the internet, something's going to switch on where it's going to take over mainstream. I wouldn't say the next 5 years, but I think that they're going to start incorporating it, and I think there's going to be something big that happens.
It's hard to imagine something not happening, really.
Yeah.
I personally am a little bit concerned about just doing feature films, just because I wonder how much longer people are even going to buy films. I think that feature films will always have a market, but I don't know how much longer. Thank God for HD.
Yeah.
If HD didn't come out, I think the DVD market, the home video market, would have just tanked already. Of course, it was I think a natural evolution, but things got smaller for YouTube, free, and things got really bigger and more expensive for HD. And that's good for us, I think. Because that's the direction I want to go in. I prefer doing feature films. I'm better, I think, well, I'm not going to say anything about that. I was going to say I'm better at doing feature films than shorts, but I don't know about that yet.
Are you talking about? Well, Contour was. I mean, I think it's a success. I mean,
thank you.
Your first film and the budget you had and the resources that you had with it, I think it's phenomenal for what you did. And even if I didn't know that, I was thoroughly entertained throughout the whole movie.
Oh, thanks.
And it kicked it off right in the beginning when you started shooting at that bottle and you missed everything. And that triggered. I was just like, okay, it's gonna be one of these fun movies. All right, cool.
Well, with that, what you're talking about, where the law can't shoot worth shit. The only reason I did that is because I couldn't think of good ways to get rid of guns in a fight scene. And I figured, man, if this guy was just really good at getting all the guns in a scene and just had terrible aim and wasted all the bullets, then we could just have fight scenes. Because that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to have fight scenes. I wasn't interested in gunplay or anything like that.
That's interesting how you did that. I mean, some films don't even attempt that. They would just assume that
Yeah, I hate that.
But man, tonight, Blake is bringing over Dogs of Chinatown, the final cut.
Whoa!
And it's I'm gonna encode it tonight to put it on DVD, and they're shipping it off to distributor tomorrow.
Ooh,
So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. I haven't seen it all, but what I've seen so far is just like, wow. So tonight I'm gonna get a sneak peek, or maybe tomorrow. But it looks phenomenal, man. Now, how do you feel as doing all the films yourself and all these creations that you're coming up with? And man, you have a lot too. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm going through Stunt People, and it's just like, I would think you're 35 years old with all the films that you've done.
Yeah, the first year, I think, in 2001, we did 35 short films, totaling 3 hours of edited video.
Wow.
We're talking, I mean, we shot every weekend for the entire year, and then some, after school, after work, late at night, before school, before work, skip school, shoot during all summer, all winter, whatever it was. Like, the fire was so big then, and also not many other people were doing films back then. It was just especially not many action films anyway. It was us and Coon, Zero Gravity, and some guys in Europe who didn't really. There was one other group called Eastway that had a crew, and there weren't many other action crews out there making action films. So there was just this huge fire for us that we were like pioneering something. So for the first year, we just went balls out and made 35 action films. Not all of them were action, and all of them were bad. But we've done a lot. We've done a lot, just because we were so passionate about this, and everybody involved was passionate about it. And that's, I can't take the credit for these things. It was a really group effort all along the way.
Well, it would have to be with that many people, but you guys also do. I saw you also do like you go and do presentations in front of schools.
Yeah, yeah, we do live shows. We do. Pete, part of our crew, Pete Lee, works for a program called Glide, and he works with a lot of kids that we sometimes go and do live shows for these kids. They're really, really cool kids. I think they're mostly Mexican. I'm not sure though. And we go and do martial arts performances for them. I think Ed's done one, and we're gonna do one in August, I think, also. And I'm gonna do one on fight choreography with them.
Now, you don't have to tell this, but like, how much is something like that? Is it beneficial for everyone to do this?
What do you mean, everyone?
Like everyone involved, like you and this, all the people in the crew. How many people do this? Like, do actually presentation?
Oh, the live shows.
Yeah, the live show.
For things like that, the charitable things, it's awesome. But when it comes to live performances and things like that, honestly, it's oftentimes more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah.
It involves, I mean, every live show that we've done is basically boiled down to maybe one night of practice, and then we get there, we practice it for maybe an hour before the show, and we do it. And we haven't really, I don't think we've bombed yet. We've always gotten pretty good response, but the amount of stress, it's not, the amount of work doesn't just add up to one night of practice and then going there. There's a lot of coordination involved.
Sure.
And these things, if they pay, do not pay well at all.
Okay.
Because it's usually through somebody else. Or some other venue. It's never a Stunt People venue. We've never done anything like that. Maybe we should.
I was going to say, do you think if someone asked, like, hey, like if an independent contractor promoter came to you, like, yeah, we'd love to do some like live events before, I don't know, an Aussie show. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and I think that'd be great. But truth be told, I don't think that's where our strengths lie.
Right.
We're good. We can do fight choreography. We can do stunts. We're not really in the acrobatic arena. We're not really tricksters. The
sure
extreme martial arts, and those guys can put on a hell of a show that'll just knock us, blow us out of the water.
Yeah, but they're also kicking each other. They're actually hitting each other really hard.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the acrobatics.
Oh, okay. You said mixed martial artists, so I was just like, oh, those punks.
Oh, no, did I say that? I thought I said extreme. I meant extreme martial arts, like XMA and things like that, where they do really fancy kicks. And, it's really a demonstration of sorts. And, we have, people like seeing the falls. People like seeing the fight choreography, and that's cool. But people, you get a really good response from people when you just do a back tuck, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And a back tuck, it's easy, and we're pretty limited to back tucks, front tucks, very basic acrobatics. We can't touch the tricksters and the Shaolin monks and the gymnastics people. And so I love doing live shows. They're really stressful, but they're fun. There's no rush like the rush you get from a live show that goes perfectly well.
But also, and I mean, if I was a kid, I would love to see that. My high school put on a performance like that. I'd be like, oh hell yeah, my school's awesome.
Sure, yeah. No, I agree, and I'm all for it. I try and keep it realistic. Just
Sure,
that,
sure.
if we could know these extra things, we could put on a hell of a performance, and hopefully someday, we'll be able to hook up with more tricksters and more acrobats to put on a really well-rounded show, so we could have the stunts and the tricks and the acrobatics and the fight choreography. And also, when we do the shows, we like to have some kind of comedy in it,
You're
like
good.
an act.
You're good at that.
Thank you.
You have a natural, just comedic undertone, and if nobody has seen Contour or any of the films that Eric's been in, and Angela was the first one to say this when we were watching Contour, she kind of whispered, you're sitting behind us, she whispered to me, she's like, he looks like Bruce Campbell without the chin,
Yeah.
So it was, but what's like what have people been saying that, about your performance? Anyone mention that you look like Bruce Campbell or somebody in particular?
Tons of people say that. And that's cool.
That
I
is
like
cool,
that.
man. Bruce Campbell's
That's
awesome.
an awesome. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what better compliment I could get just based on looks. I mean, I've heard Jeff Gordon. So I look like Jeff Gordon. Well, that's useless. Bruce Campbell. That's cool. That's actually marketable in a way.
Absolutely.
And if I can be the Bruce Campbell who does action scenes, that's kind of cool. And that's worked fairly well for our distributor. I think that they actually commented on that.
Wow.
I personally should stick with that.
Not
Not do Bruce Campbell things, but keep looking like Bruce Campbell.
You're like, sorry, it just came with me. I don't think I can get rid of it.
Yeah, no more sex change. Oh well.
Damn it. Now, someone once told me that I looked like Ray Liotta when I was like 19 years old.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I was young, I had big blue eyes, no goatee at the time, and I was actually a bellhop at a hotel in New Jersey, and this is my Jersey attitude. So this woman, really really attractive businesswoman, goes, "You know who you remind me of? You remind me of Ray Liotta." The first thing that came out of my mouth goes, I said, "You up for some unlawful entry?" Because that was a movie that just came out of his. And before I could even grin, she slapped me so hard.
Oh.
Everybody at the front desk heard it. And my manager just looked at me, and he heard the whole thing, and he's just like, normally I would have fired you, but I think that's good enough. I was just like, well, she can't take a joke. She can compliment me, but I can't joke. Jeez. Angela still shakes her head like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, yes, you can. Shut up.
I didn't even think of it in a bad way until you said that she slapped you. So
yeah, it was hands across the face, every finger right on the side of my cheek. It was perfect placement. It was pathetic. But I got plenty of those in my life to tell. But so what's where do you see yourself in the future? I mean, is this the feature film? Is that what you want to be doing?
Yeah, definitely. I like doing shorts too. I'll do anybody's short film. That's there's no question about that. But I tend to not write for short film. I like to. I don't know what it is. I don't think that feature films are better than short films. It's
Sure.
just. I don't know. And it's strange because a lot of the comedy that I grew up on were short films from the 30s and 40s. You know, I watched a lot of Laurel and Hardy when I was a kid.
Nice.
A lot of Charlie Chaplin, some Buster Keaton, but Laurel and Hardy were actually. I mean, that's like those are the first shorts that I can remember ever seeing, and just that whole era of vaudeville um, actors kind of doing their own stunts, doing their acting,
That's true.
writing and directing, and that's. I used to think like, oh yeah, Hong Kong cinema was my entire inspiration, but then I realized like, no, I grew up on vaudeville. I had no idea. I just didn't realize that that was a major influence on my life.
Sure.
And Hong Kong film, yeah, definitely for the action, but for just the act, you know, the stage act and the comedy. That's definitely from 30s and 40s comedy for me.
And your film isn't, as you were saying earlier, you know, you wrote only about all this action scenes and everything else. Your film isn't all about action. I mean, the story's a little bit silly,
Yeah.
you know, with the country but it was fun. Like in between everything, it was fun. The actors were hilarious. So, man, you're gonna have a lot of great films coming up. I could just feel it, and
I hope so, man.
and I've been telling this almost every filmmaker I've talked to on this program. But man, if somebody doesn't give you some money to do this kind of thing, then they're idiots. Because I think that within a few years, doors are gonna be opening up, and you're gonna just be so successful, man.
Yeah, if I can just, I don't shoot for a lot of money. Of course, I made Contour for 5,000, and the one I'm writing right now is a lot more. It's 70,000 or something like that, and that's just it's nothing for these for a producer. A producer would laugh if you asked them for 500,000. Like a lot of the time, studios just don't know how to cut a $500,000 check. It's like it's 5 million or more.
Yeah. Because they'll be like,
And
it's not worth it. I mean, they would
yeah,
think that
exactly.
their return
Yeah.
would be 150,000.
Yeah, and so if they're going to cut you a check, they're going to cut you 5 million, because if they cut you any less, they're not going to take it seriously. So they're just losing money on you because
Right.
they're not even going to bother marketing it. So if they give you 5 million, okay, now we've invested this, now we can push it and get a committee behind your film, and not even for 5 million. For 5 million, it's almost like an experimental piece for them. They just kind of here's 5 million, go do your thing. We're going to market it. Once you get up to 25 million, that's when they start taking more control. But
That's
not
great.
not that I really know anything about this, but
Hey,
I'm
that's
just
great.
talking about getting $70,000 to do a film. If I can pay myself a little bit out of that, make a living off of it, I'd be happy. I don't really need much. I just really want to keep doing what I'm doing, honestly. And if that means I get paid if I'm living at the 25K a year rate, which I'm living at right now, that's fine.
You're living on that rate in San Francisco?
Yeah, that's about how much I make a year, 25,000. Actually, less now because I work one less day a week because I don't have time to do my passion anymore. I have to take Fridays off, so
Wow.
I actually work less now in order to do that. Yeah.
Wow. Because I've been looking at a lot of jobs all over the country, and I see a job opening in San Francisco or California, and they're like, yeah, starting salary is 27,000. I'm like, yeah, right. And you want someone to be a producer, a director, video,
Yeah, that's
an editor,
that's
a graphic designer, and a web design, a programmer. Get the fuck out of here for that much money.
Yeah, it's low. I mean, fortunately, I live alone. I have very few I'm not married, so it's a different story for me. But one person living on 25K, it's possible here.
Sure.
I prefer not to. I'd prefer to make more than that. But if it means that I can make these kinds of movies my whole life and at least sustain, keep food in my fridge and have a bed, then and an alarm clock, heating occasionally.
But I'm one of these tech geeks. Like if I see a new gadget, I gotta have it. It's like that's my weakness.
Okay.
Okay. Like the new G5 or the Intel. I'm like, I want it. And I just got a G5. It's just like, shut up. You got a good computer. Wait till it blows up and then move on. These are the battles.
Don't get me wrong. I just bought a new TV also, and of course I rationalize as well. I'm going to be making HD film, so I need a 46-inch in order to see if it's a focus. So, and I need an Xbox so I can. Well, that one I just bought.
So you could have got away if you said I need a PlayStation 3 because Blu-ray is the new HD, and I'm gonna I gotta do some, Blu-ray tests on my
And
computer.
I thought HD DVD was going to be the next thing. That's why I bought the Xbox. That's why.
Yeah, those suckers.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Now, I'm pissed off at Apple because those pussies, they have this whole program for you, the Final Cut Pro suite, editing suite, and they have DVD Studio Pro, which is an awesome DVD authoring tool, and then they don't have support for Blu-ray discs.
Oops.
I mean, when Blu-ray came out, the battle HD DVD and Blu-ray going on, they're like, we're going to stick with HD DVD. And as soon as it loses, you would think they go, all right, we're going to start supporting Blu-ray, fix a few chips, do something else. Nope. Nope. So, I'm reading all over boards, like people are just so upset because their clients want, HD DVD or Blu-ray DVDs. And,
oh, boy.
They can't make it yet.
Oh, man.
It's just a mess. But that's what happens when you get all, when you get into something and then all these other companies are starting to, change the way.
Yep. And nobody knew which direction that battle was going to go.
Yeah.
But
common sense, I mean, what I was thinking was, I think the bigger one that can hold the most would win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you could start archiving stuff on, just data DVDs. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people went out and spent a lot of money on those HD DVDs. Probably started their old library again, and then they're all,
yeah.
Damn it.
Exactly. Well, at least it still works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can still enjoy it for a while. Yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right. They can enjoy it until it blows up.
Yeah, they just can't get another one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Talent Freaks. Eric Jacobus' dedication to innovative action design and storytelling has made a significant impact on the world of stunts and choreography. His unique blend of physical comedy and martial arts continues to inspire and entertain audiences worldwide. And some things that I've known about Eric since this interview, he's done amazing things. He is the motion cap actor for the God of War, Kratos. So the punches, the kicks, everything that you play with, that's actually Eric Jacobus, mocapped. And he owns his own mocap studio and is doing amazing work. He's also an author. He wrote his first book called If These Fists Could Talk, a stuntman's unflinching take on violence. And I highly suggest it to check it out on Amazon or wherever you find your books. And I love his YouTube channel. Recently, he just did a debate with ChatGPT about violence in film. He is such a unique mind. Now, to explore more of Eric's work, you can visit his official website at ericjacobus.com. You can also follow him on social media for updates on his latest projects. So on YouTube, it's Eric Jacobus. Instagram, at Eric Jacobus. Twitter or X, whatever it is these days, at Eric Jacobus. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast. It truly helps others discover these incredible stories. And if you want to know what I've been up to, you could check talentfreaks.com and see the videos that I worked on, some of the stories behind it, as well as the photography that I'm working on these days, which I'm absolutely in love with. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast. It truly helps others discover these incredible stories. And if you have suggestions for future guests or topics, feel free to reach out. I'm always eager to bring new and exciting conversations to the podcast. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and stay curious.